Introducing D'Addario's DIY cable kit with mini plugs. Each cable kit makes up to 5 top-quality custom patch cables. Turns out your board doesn't have to be so packed after all.
Dalai Lama says I'm perfect, but my daddy says I'm not. Growing up fast on American pipe dreams, trips to the golden sun.
Hey everyone, this is Chris Keys for Premier Guitar, hanging out in Nashville's Basement East with Liz Cooper of Liz Cooper and the Stampede. Liz, how are you doing?
Good, how are you doing?
Thank you. Well, I'm doing well. Thank you for asking, and thank you for your time. Let's just get right into it. This is a very special instrument. It is a collaboration that I'm sure you had with Creston. So how did it come to be about? Because I've known you as more of an SG player, and now this is kind of your main guy.
Well, the SG is actually Grant Prettyman's.
Okay.
He plays bass for me.
I've heard of him.
Yeah, he's somebody to know. But yeah, it's just as a backup. I've never really had a backup guitar that I've loved, and he's been kind enough to let me borrow it. But this is definitely my baby. The Creston, I don't have a name for it besides just Creston, but I guess I heard about him probably 4-ish years ago. I'm trying to think of how long I've had this. I've had this for probably like 3 years. And there are some people in the Burlington area, he's from Burlington, Vermont, that I liked their style of playing. And I just kind of looked him up, and I thought his work was beautiful, and just he makes this from the woods of Vermont.
Yeah, and there aren't some of them like old wood or like reclaimed wood or something like that?
Yeah, everything on here, like this is, I think, Indian rosewood, the neck, and I'm trying to think of, I think it's maybe 40 years old. This is from a barn. It's spruce, but a lot of, he just kind of travels around, I'm sure more than just like the Burlington area, but he travels around to find the best of the best for his gear. But yeah, I just I was scrolling through his stuff online, and there was something that was kind of similar to this, and I know he doesn't make the same guitar twice.
Yeah.
He was very adamant about not doing that, and so I was like, okay, just make whatever you think would be the best for me, and he came up with this.
Yeah, did you have any input or saying like, well, this is what I like, or pickups or anything like that, or was it just kind of all his doing?
It was kind of all of his doing in a way, but he knew that I was mostly playing acoustic at the time, and so the neck is pretty thick on this, and it's more so like an acoustic guitar. And then the I like a higher action, so that's also too kind of something that he took in mind. And we have a mastery bridge. It is a little janky right now.
And
but
so this is the guitar that essentially you learned how to play electric on, because like you said, like with Monsters, that was more of an acoustic EP, but this is, the debut album is a lot more electric and
it is
spaced out, which is right up my alley. But so this is kind of, a bridge between where you started and where you're headed.
Yeah, I do have an ES 175 as well that I found on Craigslist from a church in the New England area. And that's something that I kind of worked on and learned some stuff on. But this is like something that I could really, those are so fragile, and it's a hollow body.
Yeah.
It's from the 60s. It's one of those guitars that I won't play it out anymore. It's my like studio guitar.
Home
I don't
guitar.
have a studio, but it's if I did have a studio, it would be my studio guitar. But this is definitely something I cut my teeth on, and I love it.
And for strings, what kind of strings are you using?
Well, right now I think these are just is it D'Addario strings or whatever. I've been messing around with the Gabriel Tenarios, and I really have liked those. And right now, I think these are 11s, but I've been also messing around with 12s, which, or I think 12s, but is it the thicker string?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been messing around with that. And it's just different depending on like the pick that I'm using too right now.
There's a lot of intricacies that can go into the spring.
0.73 millimeter Dunlop.
And is that something you're switching around a lot or not?
I go between this one and the blue one, but it just also depends on the size string that I use. Yes. But, what else would you like to know?
I believe from looking up or seeing online is that this has Lawlers in it, Lawler P90s?
It does.
What do you dig about the P90 setup versus maybe a humbucker or a true single coil?
These really cut through. They're definitely really buzzy.
Yeah.
But I feel like the sound is really like, it's not piercing, because piercing is like a negative way to think about it, but it just cuts through really nicely. Yeah, it's very direct.
Especially because you guys are a three-piece, so you got to make as much noise as you can.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
And behind me here is Vox AC15, correct?
Very correct.
And what do you dig about this, and how did you kind of get to this being your amp?